Mihawk starts bullying Luffy. Luffy taps into observation haki subconsciously due to stress and haki blooms, and avoids getting his arms diced off by Mihawk. Hey, what's up everybody? It's LeeLos, and today we're continuing talking about the legendary greatness of Marineford. Stay steady in pursuit of your dreams and goals. You're born to win, you're made for greatness, and I definitely believe in you guys. Keep up the great work each and every day. So where we left off, Ors was falling to the ground like a freshly chopped tree. He has a flashback where Oda does something honestly magical. He shows Ace give Ors Jr. a straw hat, and Ace, plain as day, says, "Yeah man, I learned how to make these bad boys back in Wano." It went over so many people's heads, and most of us didn't even notice this until Oda revealed Ace in a Wano flashback just a couple years ago. Oda told us Ace went to Wano like 10 actual real-life years before showing us Ace in Wano. And it ends up being a very important part of the plot in Wano 10 actual real-life years later. Whitebeard one-shots a Vice Admiral without even looking at him, which, once again, was a character stated to be stronger than Luffy. Doflamingo was strong enough to control the 13th Division Commander Atmos with his strings, and if the rank was going on power in this situation, then that would mean Doflamingo is capable of controlling characters stronger than Izo. And Izo is so strong that in Wano, he's relative to Appu and Next Drake, who are supernova that can hold their own against 3rd Division Commander level combatants. But to be fair, it is possible that Izo got a lot stronger during the time skip, so we could be overhyping Doflamingo a little bit. One of the saddest scenes in Marineford happens where Garp sits next to Ace and breaks down crying because he knows his grandson's about to be executed. Ace has never seen his grandfather cry before, and all his life Garp was an alpha Chad who would just beat him up to make him stronger. So something like this is about as shocking for Ace as it would be for Atreus to see Kratos break down and start crying mid-game. Most of Marineford, Garp either sits here crying or doing nothing. It shows how bad this whole situation is all hurting him, because if he wanted to, he could easily fold up so many of the pirates at Marineford. Seeing how he was Roger's rival just like Whitebeard was, he's basically a Whitebeard for the Marines if Whitebeard was not sick and was not dying and just kept training and continued fighting the entire time from Roger's era until now. So Garp's a disgusting freak of nature, and you can easily scale him to being the most powerful character at Marineford, very easily based off of narrative. But luckily for Whitebeard, Garp just sat back crying most of the war. Then your boy Luffy enters the battle. Luffy pulls off a Chad move that gets put in the freaking history books of shonen and gets a lot of attention as soon as he joins the battle because he's so reckless and wild. He fights with literally no regard for his own life at all. He gets low diff destroyed by numerous characters many times throughout Marineford, but Luffy keeps finding ways to rejoin the fight, and his persistence builds a lot of morale for the Whitebeard pirates. Basically, it's like looking over and seeing someone weaker than you, trying harder than you, and getting better results than you. You start thinking, hey yo, I can't let this little kid show me up anymore, so let's go, you know, and that's how a lot of the Whitebeard pirates were just getting hyped. Something worth noting is literally as soon as Luffy steps onto the battlefield, he's almost one-shot killed by Kizaru's light beams, but Eva saves Luffy from Kizaru's attack, and that feat you can use to say Eva's wink attack is actually relative to Kizaru's light beam attacks as well, because his wink reaches Luffy before the light beam does. But if Eva wasn't there, it's possible that Luffy would have showed up to Marineford and just instantly died the moment he set foot on the battlefield, which is expected for a rookie of his power level at a war this strong. Numerous characters stronger than Luffy had already been one-shot before Luffy even got there. Even the fodder characters at Marineford are capable of beating Luffy up a little bit. Luffy charges off, gives epic speeches, stands up to Whitebeard, and just does a ton of epic Luffy stuff. Jinbei battles Moria and low diff decimates him. Luffy starts getting wailed on again, and this time Smoker beats him. Then Boa comes out and starts running the ones with Smoker and gives Luffy the key to Ace's handcuffs. I love the Luffy-Boa dynamic. It's wholesome and hilarious, and to me it's a better version of Goku and Chi-Chi. Vegapunk modified Kuma into a fully mindless robot. There's a panel where we see Bonnie watching this war on TV, and she cries during this part where we see the modified Kuma. None of us knew why Bonnie was crying at this point in the series, but it was literally literally revealed like a couple months ago in real life 2023 that Kuma is Bonnie's father. So that's why she was crying here during Marineford. Oda's a freaking genius. Like, goodness, bro. Like, okay, so Eva and Kuma were both longtime teammates with Dragon, so Eva very likely knew exactly how powerful Kuma was, but Eva is so strong that he's confident he can beat Kuma still, and then he starts blasting Kuma around. We don't get to see this entire fight, but this here is Eva's best feat in the entire series, and you can use it to put Eva around 3rd Division Commander level, but it's really hard to find evidence that puts him any higher than that. I really tried, and to be honest, I feel like he's a little lower than 3rd Division Commander. I feel like he might even be a bit weaker than Doflamingo, but it's debatable. To put it simply, Eva's somewhere around Doflamingo to 3rd Division Commander level. Crocodile takes a hockey-coated attack from Diamond Jozu straight to the chinny chin chin, and he's able to continue fighting after that. Somehow, Crocodile got a lot stronger while he was in prison. Who knows, maybe he snuck in a Taibo workout tape with him with Mr. Billy Blanks and was doing like a 90-day straight calisthenics challenge or something, who knows. But this feat shows he got a lot more durable too, considering earlier base Luffy was able to knock him out back in Alabasta. The simple answer is Oda just wanted Crocodile to be relevant for a long time in the series, so he just made him stronger, but I like my headcanon of Crocodile doing that 90-day Taibo challenge. Doflamingo stops Jozu with his strings too, but Jozu's still able to move his head right away and looks annoyed rather than frightened, so it's possible Jozu might have broken out if the scene went on for longer. And later in the fight we see Jozu fighting more people not controlled by the strings anyway, so maybe he did just break out of Doflamingo's strings on his own, or maybe Doflamingo fighting with Crocodile and other enemies just made him release his grip on Jozu so he could focus on other battles, but it's kind of a debatable discussion whether or not Jozu could break the strings. Mihawk starts bullying Luffy. Luffy taps into observation haki subconsciously due to stress and haki blooms, and avoids getting his arms diced off by Mihawk. Vista saves Luffy and starts brawling with Mihawk, and Vista's so strong that he's able to fight Mihawk for a while, with neither of them taking damage, which gives further proof that Whitebeard commanders might not be ranked completely by strength. One of Whitebeard's crew members, Squard, betrays Whitebeard and stabs him in his tum-tum. Squard was tricked by Akainu into doing that, and this scene proves that Whitebeard's grown a lot weaker and a lot slower with age and sickness, and it's stated by numerous characters here. Whitebeard forgives Squard instantly because his Chad levels are so large they can no longer be measured. There's no senzu beans for Whitebeardy. He starts truly battling from here with a sword wound going from his stomach straight through his back. To be honest, that attack would have killed most people in One Piece, and Whitebeard just stacks on more damage from here. Whitebeard then proceeds to tilt the entire island. 3 admirals block the attack from doing damage to the scaffold. They might have been using Rio, because it does look kind of similar to the Rio that Rayleigh used when he repels an elephant at the start of Luffy's training. Marines put up a steel wall that Whitebeard couldn't break. They say it's a special steel, not of ordinary material. Based on information we got from newest chapters, it's very possible that this wall was made from materials from the Void Century that had technology and material superior to even Vegapunk, so it would make a lot of sense. Whitebeard stabs Aokiji with haki, but Aokiji pre-breaks ahead of time to avoid damage, just like Katakuri did versus Luffy, implying Aokiji might have future sight haki as well. Luffy fights 2 vice admirals and gets absolutely low diffed. He's not even able to get a single hit in. They legit just take turns slap boxing him around. Then right after this, Kizaru straight up tells Luffy he's not strong enough to save Ace and kicks him in his teeth so hard it sends him flying dozens of meters in the opposite direction. And at this point, Luffy's officially defeated in Marineford for the first time. He's so injured he can't even walk anymore, and he has to beg Eva to give him another adrenaline shot just so that he can continue fighting. Eva does this, and keep in mind, Luffy's body is not healed. The adrenaline is just tricking Luffy's body into feeling like it's healed, but all the damage keeps stacking on, and his body's still recovering from Magellan's poison. Luffy just can't feel it and goes on to keep brawling. But if it wasn't for Eva, Luffy would have been completely finished right there. But we'll continue with this and a lot more in the next video.